Hello, everyone. Welcome to our weekly discussion series that's hosted by the Chaldean Cultural Center in collaboration with U of M Detroit Center, Unique Voices in Films, and CMN TV. I'm your host, Wiam Nemu. Today, our special guest is Jamal Ali. Hello, Jamal, from
Hi.
Minnesota, who has had the same type of weather that we've been having, a little bit cold
Yeah,
and sunny today,
yeah,
thank God.
that's right.
Um, so, Jamal, we're very happy to have you here today. You were born and raised in Baghdad, Iraq, graduated from Spartan College of Aeronautics in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1979, and had a career as an aircraft maintenance engineer for Iraqi Airways. How exciting.
Yeah,
You moved with your
yeah.
family and two children to Minnesota in 2009, and now you live in Spring Lake Park and work as a medical interpreter.
Yes,
So it looks like you've been a part of what's a project that's called Iraqi Voices, and which started in 2012. And is that associated with the Iraqi American Reconciliation Project?
yes, yes, it was that.
And I know that part of you were awarded the Outstanding Refugee Entrepreneurship Award by the Minnesota Department of Human Services in 2019
Yes,
for your role in creating innovative art and spaces to strengthen cultural awareness and understanding.
yes,
Yes, well, that's
yeah.
wonderful.
I
So
was very proud to have this award.
yes, and you should be.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so let's learn a little bit about your background then. As an Iraqi American, you were born in Baghdad. So what were your fondest memories of that region?
Well, my fondest memory is like I lived the life with my parents, with my children, and raised my children. Uh, and I enjoy being working as aircraft engineer with Iraqi Airways. My job, you do maintenance for aircraft. It's in Baghdad, and we get to travel a lot during that time from I graduate until 1991 when the sessions with the, we stop working. And there's a lot of memories, beautiful memories, me and my parents and traveling inside Iraq and have a lot of friends, my relative. We've been, like the fondest memory how I started from scratch and I got a job, I got a house and I travel and everything, and then I got in a good position in Iraqi Airways, and after that I was this general manager for UPS in Baghdad. That's one of the beautiful things that I had. I had a good career. I raised my children. I have a beautiful life with everybody there.
Well, then it would be more interesting to find
Mm.
out. Then you left all of that, and what was
Yeah.
when did you decide to come to the United States, and why did you decide to do so?
Well, it's because I travel a lot, and even my education was in Tulsa, Oklahoma at that time. So I love it traveling. But the funny thing, my wife doesn't like to travel. So I love to live somewhere else. But the things is decided to travel to move or from Baghdad is because I got threatened because I was a UPS general manager, and that's like I got threatened from at that time in 2005 and six. So I have to move to Jordan, and from there they have a new program for people who work for a American company to immigrant in United States. Other than that, I mean, I was not decided to travel because it's a hassle for my family. For me, I'm fine to travel and move, but my family has. And when we came here, uh, especially my wife, she is an MD. She's in anesthesiology. She's a specialist. So when she came here, she couldn't get her degree. This is one of the big uh, obstacle for her. Like she cannot get her license here, and she got depressed for a couple of years until she get back into life and she started working as an interpreter with me. So it takes me like 2 years to get my family to adapt it to the new life and everything, and which is now they are they really happy for moving from Iraq to leaving Iraq. But I mean, because of the security, they're happy to leave the Iraq because of the security. Otherwise, we still love Iraq. We still, thinking about Iraq. We still have a beautiful memory there.
So your main and the threats were mainly because you worked with an American company. That was the
Correct. Yes. Yes.
And regarding your wife, we have so many stories similarly of we know of so many Iraqi
Yeah.
Americans, Chaldeans, and otherwise who have to come and they're so educated and they cannot utilize their
Yeah.
degrees because of all the process that's involved, and you kind of have to start from
Mm.
zero in the language.
Yeah.
So it's a very challenging thing, but it's beautiful that you guys continue to utilize your service in different ways. With you, I mean, you got into um, the film, like you wanted to capture. So basically, can you give me a little bit background about how this project started? And before that, were you already involved with the Iraqi American Reconciliation Project, or did that come after? Just kind of how did that work?
So the how does that work? It's just we started. There is a organization called African American Associate, which is they help all the immigrants who has MD degree, like the doctor degree, in their country to get a license. So my wife, she went into this program, but she started, and they supply books for her. They supply everything, even if she need to do a course, English course or anything. They help her even for driver license. But the thing she found out down the road, she started studying and everything. But they told her, because you've been a graduate more than 10 years, the chance for you to get a job is, almost nothing or very little. So she got into depression, and she had her own films also. I will send you the link for that. So the beginning, we started uh, with African American, and they did a film about my wife. And the guys who did the film, his name is Nathan, and he did a few films for me and for my son, for my wife and for my son. And after a while, he said, we need to do more Iraqi voices, but it's going to be through IARP. So I said, who's IARP? Then they introduced me to them, and we started doing series of Iraqi voices. And one of them was mine, which is that's what we hear in the news, which is a great stories about how the American thinking through the news. I don't want to tell you everything, but we'll send you the links, and it's amazing. So we start doing this after the first film we did with my wife was in 2012. That's when the big change in my life, that I bought a house in that time. So after that, we start doing a lot of Iraqi voice. We did about 14 films. One of them is mine, and the other one was my sister's, Emel. She's an MD also, and also we did a lot of with Iraqi people, uh, films with Iraqi people, and also we did a play which is Birds Sing Differently, which is this is a big step for us, and we got that the honor that this play was in the Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis, which is one of the famous and largest in Central America, the Guthrie Theater. So we did a lot. We're still doing things now, but not as much as we used to be.
So this took place all in Minnesota?
Everything and we've done is in Minnesota.
Okay. Well, we have to get you to come here sometimes and do stuff on us because based on
Yeah.
Congressman Levin's, what he told me is our district has the largest population of Iraqi-born citizens in the United States.
Yes,
So
yes.
since you guys have that focus, so we have a wonderful, wonderful community here, very large community. And I have watched some of these videos. They're very informative. When you say that, so you're trying basically not only to give voices to the Iraqis, but also you want to help, like you said, a lot of the information that Americans or people who have not been to Iraq or not familiar, they get their information from the news, from the media, basically.
Correct, yes.
And it could be oftentimes incorrect or, just stereotypical.
Yeah, it's like Iraqi Voices, actually. I mean, It's like two in one. One to tell the American how is the Iraqi thinking, how is their life has been, how are they educated, and the one of them also the reason, in Iraq, through all my life we've been through the dictatorship. So no, I mean you cannot talk. There's no freedom of speech. You know, so to get people to jump out of this and talk is kind of challenge for me. So they have to feel comfortable, like what you guys call it a comfortable zone to talk. So talking is the big challenge for me to get people to talk about their past, to talk about what they think and what they've been suffering. And that's what we did on the birthing differently. And also in Iraqi Voices, I had people talk about their past, what they think. They were thinking about a lot of things. So they felt free to talk, which is one of my biggest things is to make Iraqi people uh, go out of their way to talk and feel the freedom of speech, and also show the American what the Iraqi people looks like, because the news is destroying all these things, the beautiful things about the Iraqi people.
Yeah, I think people underestimate how oppressive, you know, how oppressive it is when you don't have freedom of speech.
Yeah,
It really results in so many issues, including leading to violence and war, because when you are unable to express yourself, sometimes that's when things escalate and lead up to situations. And we have a similar program that we are doing here where we interview Chaldeans about their Chaldean American experience. And we have experience where there's a hesitation. So people do want to tell their stories, but we see there's a lot of underlying issues that come from the land that they're from. Just that fear factor where you couldn't express yourself. You're afraid of being literally killed if that happens. So giving this kind of a platform, it's so healing for the person that's being interviewed or who's expressing themselves, and it's very informative for non-Iraqis. So
yeah,
it's a very powerful program.
yeah,
Um, so have you worked, you did mention that you've done theater, that was going to be my next question, is that you've
yeah.
done other creative projects that you've worked on. What have they been?
The play we started, I think, was 2017, and it was, and at that time, I mean, I have a trust in my people, but when they said let's do play, the IRP, and I thought, this is challenging. It's not just like talk. So and in a lot of, like, a few of Iraqi people, they volunteer to be in the play. So I thought, how can you make, normal person who has never been in a show to be an actor? And it was the lady, her name is Taouz, and Dylan, the Taouz, the director, the Dylan was scenarist. They make these people, they change them from normal person to an actor. So there's over 9 or 10 of people, Iraqi people, they tell their stories, which they are real. So they went to the stage and start, acting. I'm not saying like a professional actor, but it was like everybody was amazed about how these people, get in the stage and they tell their story. So we got theater play, which with normal people, actors, they tell their stories and they show you their stories. And this, I mean, it's amazing the reaction of the people. And the play was like something sad and something is funny, and they laugh, and the way we do it. We have also five, I think at that time, five professional actors, which is one of them is from Algeria, Muhammad Yabadri, and also there's another American actors. And the people, they were, they were their reaction was amazing. They laugh from their heart. And one of the, they, when the story comes to something sad, one of the audience, they cry like they're babies. And I was like, well, there's a lady behind me. She cried like she just gasping for air for crying. And after that, I said, I mean, what happened? And she told me her stories, why she's crying, because she was part of the people who's did was in the war, like they are in the U.S. Army who bombed Iraq by by the drone or by all these aircraft. She said, I felt sorry. I think I'm bombing these people. These people are very peaceful people. You know, this is amazing. Like, and I think I got the message spread to all American there, and they love it. They enjoy it. They wrote a beautiful comments, and the Guthrie Theater was full. Like for the 3 days, I think, or 2 days, the stage was full of people. We have to bring extra chair for people to see the show, which is I was proud of what I did. And after that, we did it all over Minnesota. We have like 5 cities in Minnesota, and everybody was like, they love it and they wanted more and more.
Yeah, we definitely don't have a shortage of talent, do we?
Yeah,
We are just needing those opportunities that you're
yeah,
providing. I know,
yeah,
we talked about a feature film that I worked on where, um, just interestingly, we ended up picking, there was thousands of people that submitted the audition.
yeah,
And
yeah,
by the will of God or something mysterious, the
yeah.
divine, the ones that we picked were Iraqis. And I kept telling them, I said, I am so happy it happened that way because it was representing the same community that you're representing. I said, but we were not focused on that. We were focused on choosing the best actor for the role. And so
Yeah,
their talent was and is amazing.
yeah,
And the and it wasn't just them, it was so many that submitted this just for the particular roles. And I thought, wow, if we really paid attention to that area and amplified our voices through creativity, through TV, through media, through movies, we definitely don't have a lack of talent. And you're just expressing the same thing, that you saw that their performance was touching everybody. And
correct.
same
Yeah,
thing when we were filming the movie. A lot of our crew members were not Iraqis, but we became one family by understanding each other, and the whole process had them understand who they are, and they also enjoyed our fun part, because sometimes that's an area that gets a little bit neglected.
yeah,
Sometimes it's not the focus, but we do have very loving and fun homes, and really our hospitality and other things that just kind of really belongs to the whole Middle East. That type of circumstances and situations and lifestyles. So you know, since you are involved in this kind of project and you have some artistic work, what do you see? What are your goals 5 to 10 years from now for doing more creative, innovative art and spaces to strengthen cultural awareness and understanding? Where do you see yourself going with all these projects that you're doing?
well, I mean, I'm taking any opportunity for to join the community here, to show our strength, to show our cultural awareness, to try to make my community is strong. They can talk, they can explore, they can do everything they want. They get talent, they get experience, they move forward for their life. And also we want the American people here in the United States to know that Iraqi people are normal people, are talented people, and you can work with them, you can just feel comfortable with them, you can have a good time with them. So well, I'm taking any opportunity, like we did the last project we did, like Home of Memories, which was one of my friends, Ahmed Sheikhli. He did this, and with Jafar and Nabi, he did this beautiful art, and it's been going all over Minnesota, and it's beautiful art. And like I did an interview with the 3M, which they are bringing refugee from Afghanistan, and I had interview with them for about an hour to tell them my experience being as a refugees and how I help refugees. For being an interpreter, I help a lot of refugees to be in their feet. I have like one of the refugees. He came. I brought him from scratch, like from zero. He went through the whole of thing. I was with him with an arms worker from Nystrom, also be with him, and he went through a lot. He was homeless, and he had to stay in the homeless place till we got him a job. We got him a place to live, and until now he's a contractor now. He bought a house. He has his citizenship, and he has a lot of money now. We were. I'm not. We all say it's a God will, but we help him to get in his feet. And I help a lot of people like him. His name is Munzer, and I have people now. They like a family of three. They don't know nothing to do, what to do, and they work a little. They don't know they can do more, and they recently they bought a house. They move a new house. They think buying a house is a big deal, because in my country buying a house is a big deal. But with mortgage and all this stuff, we arrange everything for them. So I feel proud, and I feel just warm inside to help all these people, and I'm still keeping moving on helping people, as long as I can. And my 5 years, I just keep continue doing what I can, and just keep spreading the word to everybody.
Jamal, yeah, what you're doing is amazing and beautiful. And I worked for a resettlement agency, a refugee
Yeah,
resettlement agency, for a period of time when there was a lot of Iraqis coming in.
yeah,
And, you know, you see their struggles. I mean, they've gone through so much.
yeah,
And imagine coming into a new country after all the trauma that you have gone through,
yeah,
and trying to understand what you just said about buying a house. A lot of, there's a lot of things in our birth country that, unfortunately, there's a lot of negative sides, but there was a lot of simplicity at the same time. The lifestyle that we lived were fairly simple about how you buy a house. So when they come here and they see all these things that they have to do, it becomes so burdensome and
yeah.
overwhelming. They want to go back.
Right,
They say, we
right,
want to go back. We're overwhelmed. They feel so sad. There's so many emotions and
correct.
mixed. And it's people like you that kind of holds their hand and keeps them on their feet until they get over that stump, until they
Correct.
realize, okay, this is okay. I'm going to get through this. So your role is so important. So you have this one foot into the practical side of helping refugees, and then you
Yeah,
have the creative, which I
correct.
think the creative side is going to be serving our newer generation, our upcoming generation. So
Yeah,
you're kind of doing both things.
correct. Yeah,
It's amazing. Yeah.
yeah. That's right. Yeah, and I'm just like I have the like energy and power, just keep on and on and on to do it, and I just don't get tired of people calling me, and even if it's in the weekend or after my hours, I don't get bored and just answer their questions or I help these people whatever they can.
That's wonderful. So
Yeah,
what are your last words? A lot of people in the community now, we have different generations. We have refugees, we have immigrants that have been here for a while, and we have our new generation, many of who don't even speak Arabic, or they just pretty much Americanized. But then at the same time, they do like to connect and get familiar with their ancestral land, with their grandparents' stories. Um, but sometimes, I consider our community is fairly new to the United States in comparison to other communities who've had a chance to kind of get more established and acclimate and focus on the arts and culture. Um, what what advice would you give our youth, or even our elderly, in regards to how can we bring these two kind of generations together for us to be able to view our culture, our land, and understand its importance? Because aside from a personal level, just being born there, you were born there, I was born there myself, but my kids weren't, so they might not have the same connection. But the history there is so rich. Just that in itself, that belongs to everybody. It's where writing was started in Mesopotamia. There's an incredible history there that's so valuable. And sometimes that gets kind of pushed aside. And I feel like the value of that is undermined. How can we bring those two worlds together in a fun and entertaining and informative way?
Yeah. The things is, I have my cousin here. He's been here in the United States since back in 1982. He got his doctorate degree in vet, and now he has an MD, but he's not working as an MD doctor. But he had 6 kids, and even one of them, she had we have filmed her how she came to the United States when she was 5 years old, and how her dad was teaching her the culture, teaching her everything. It's a responsibility. I mean, coming here to the United States, it's a responsibility for the parents, it's for the responsibility for the kids. You have to teach them what's the good things in American cultures. You can adapt it to yourself or to your culture. What is the good things in your culture, you can adapt it here. So you have to mix two cultures, and like the good things here, the good things is there, and make it one culture, which is you can go on with your life. I mean, my culture is, I mean, if you go, the good things about my culture is being together, helping each other, uh, being as a family, always reach out to your friends, reach out to your relative, always help them if they need help. It's not, you don't isolate yourself. So this is in my culture. In American culture, I don't see it as much as we used to, like your neighbor. I mean, I'm living here in my new house 12 years, and I still, my neighbor is not connected as much as when we had neighbors in Iraq. And this is, we miss it sometimes. Like like my wife said, okay, look at, you go outside after sunset, nobody's outside. You cannot see people running around or playing around. Just like when it's dark, everybody inside, unless it's the weekend, and also just in the downtown, the club and all this stuff. So you don't see people running around, walking, and not everywhere. But in Minnesota is not a big city, but like you feel like, sometimes we walk in the blocks, walk. She said, "Are these dead people? How come you don't feel like there's anybody in the house?" And this is the culture. This is that they learn why it's happening, because they're scared to be connected with each other. They don't feel comfortable, so my message is to the people: be confident. Don't let yourself down. You can do it. You can do it. Teach your kids the strength, the good things about your culture. Don't make them extremer, just like some of them, but just make them in the middle. Just try to make them believe in their faith, love their kids, love their countries, love everything, and be peaceful person, and educate them in this way.
That was very beautiful, and it's true. I mean,
Yeah.
it's combining those two cultures. I think
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
the most beautiful part of the United States, is that you have that sense of each person
Yeah.
that you meet. They have somehow
Yeah.
brought in their
Yeah.
ancestral roots somehow, and we incorporate it with the American
Yeah.
way of life. And it's a nice mix. And thank you so much, Jamal. I
You're
do hope that
welcome.
you do consider coming to Michigan, because I think some of the things that you're looking for, you might find them here in my neighborhood. If you
Yes.
come to
Yes.
my house, you will find a little bit of that. Okay, so
Inshallah.
thank,
Inshallah. Let's
thank you
hope so.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank you.
everybody for
Thank you,
watching,
brother. Thank
and we'll
you.
see you next week. Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you, William. Have a good day. Have a hi for everybody. Thank you.